the voice of the people.
Justice for all deceased victims of police
All right, people. Good evening, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good wherever you are. We welcome you today to tonight's episode of Impact Plus. And tonight,
like John the Baptist in the Bible, as Sarido Kubo cried out, if we don't act fast, history might repeat itself.
The Abbey rulers, they replaced the original people and took over the realms of power. They are coming. History is going to repeat itself if we don't act now. They are coming. History is going to repeat itself.
16 soldiers killed in southern Nigeria during fighting between communities.
At least 16 soldiers, including 4 officers, were killed in southern Nigeria while responding to a distress call during fighting between 2 communities, defense officials confirmed on Saturday. The attack in the oil-rich river in Delta State happened in the Bomadi Council area Thursday, where the soldiers, deployed to keep the peace, were surrounded by some community youths and killed. The attack led to the death of the commanding officer, 2 majors, 1 captain, and 12 soldiers.
Terrorists abduct 87 in fresh Kaduna attack,
where we had some school children kidnapped. Now, the bandits were said to have looted some shops and houses located in that community. The attack was reported to have occurred on Sunday night, just a day after 14 people were kidnapped by bandits at Dogo Noma community, also within Kajuru local government.
thank you very much. You have seen it all while we are here tonight. Is a bumper package. It's all about the military and the security of Nigeria. Yes, the Niger Delta is choked with the presence of the military men. And the what's it called? The Kaduna State is boiling with consistent and impunitive abduction of kids, mothers and fathers from school, from their farm, and the military is saying they have everything under their control. And we played you that footage where you had Asare Dokubo, a kind of a positive-minded follower of Tinubu's administration, crying out, telling the people, crying like the Baptist, the proverbial John the Baptist, saying that they are coming. Who are they that are coming? Why the Niger Delta? This is Impact Plus, and my name is Nonso Chukunonso Mekekwe. You're welcome, and I have the pleasure of introducing my guests, the usual, the warriors that I go with. Of course, they are coming in from different strata location. People are trying to meet up. Chris, you're in. Chris, thank you very much, Chris.
Trying to improvise.
I can imagine. I know. I'm feeling it from here. It's okay. It's okay as far as your face is showing, and then we're sure, and your voice is clear. That's all we need. So please, I have with me tonight Barrister Isaac Obi, a constitutional lawyer based in Lagos. Sir, you are welcome.
Thank you. My pleasure.
All right. Also joining from the dark side of Anambra State, my brother and somebody I respect so much when it comes to public relations and, of course, politics, knowledge of Nigerian politics. Chris Makul Musu. Sir, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Nonso. Thank you, viewers. It's my pleasure to be here again.
I wonder where you are, sir. I wonder
I'm
where
in
you
the village. There's no light, so I'm trying to improve.
are.
And
Okay, that's
there are certain corners you don't get network, so you have to find an angle where the network will be better.
I think we'll have to build a shrine in that place so that you can stay because it's clear. It's clear.
Honestly, whatever.
No, I know. We will look into it. We will have to maybe put up a little building, a little thing around there so that you can have your stay. Because the network is crystal clear. It's like you're in Lagos, not Oka.
I've been trying since afternoon, trying to locate, a part of the house.
Okay.
Who make it better?
Oh, lovely, lovely. I love that. We're progressing. Thank you very much, sir, for your commitment. I appreciate Nigeria. The nation of Nigeria will also appreciate this effort as we work and aim at addressing certain issues and helping the authorities to do the needful. Today in our intro, you had Asaro Dokubo shouting. He was saying that a few weeks ago that they are coming, that they are here, they're in the Niger Delta, that this, that. Then some days ago, a matter of fact, yesterday and between yesterday and today, the news about the military invasion of the Niger Delta erupted. And some report had it that they came, the community welcomed them, celebrated their arrival, and then the next thing they had was people who were being picked. And lately, people were being picked, and then erupted to almost a kind of an unpalatable situation in the Niger Delta. That is what we are looking out for. Then there's a Kaduna series of kidnapping. A total of 300 and something people within a space of 1 week. And we're being told that everything is under control. When you look at this reportage before you, sir, especially that of the Niger Delta, so you will recall OD. The days of OD happened today. The internet will show you the truth. But because there was no social media then, so many things are hidden. This one is not being hidden. As much as we speak, footages are coming, videos are coming up. So, sir, I would like us to look at it. Let me start by talking to the barrister. Please, can you help us look at this? Just give me a summary intro of what your view is about these two dialogue.
Thank you very much, Nonso. Once again, I appreciate this opportunity to X-ray the happenings within our territory. It is quite heartbreaking what happened in Okwama community. Okwama community.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is Koloba community. These two communities are neighboring communities, which are typical of what happens in most African neighboring communities. It's always about territorial issues. And so these two communities found in two local governments, Ughelli local government and Bomadi local government, have had a history of this intertribal, or rather intercommunal squabbles. And apparently because of the position of the Niger Delta in the economic welfare of this country, and also the timing, there was need to send the army to make peace there.
Okay.
And that mission turned sour when about 16 military officers, both officers and the rank and file of the army, 16 altogether, were rounded up and murdered in cold blood. It is very unfortunate, very, very unfortunate. And it's difficult to believe that this happened. But it is what it is. And we are waiting and looking as events unfold. The statement from the Army headquarters has said there will be injurious consequences.
Yeah, you hold that thought, sir. You hold that thought, sir, about the injurious consequences, because that injurious consequence, as we speak now, is already being meted out. As we speak now, it's already been taken, it's been exhibited, what kind of implemented. There's a saying, you know, you don't kill an army officer. You know, in other country, in other sane country, I don't want to say that my country is not sane, but in other country, the military are revered. They're national treasures.
Yes.
They are celebrated on their way out, in and out. And they're not even, they're rarely seen. But because of, like you said, because of the situation where we are, army, the military boys are sent down to do what ordinarily where they wouldn't have been. Communal, tribal, and whatever this conflict. It has gotten so severe because even the Niger Delta themselves, like you observe and everybody knows, a lot of unaccounted illicit arms had entered that territory. And so any slightest what's it called, conflict ignites into semi-war. Sir Chris, what's your take, sir?
Well, my take is that of a very sober reflection. Sober reflection in the sense that this sort of history is not supposed to repeat itself if we are a people who learn from history. However, there appears to be a little difference, you know, in this particular development that, you know, appears troubling to me. My thoughts are regurgitating around so many factors. I sat back and I was mulling the report of the report on the incident, and a lot of what ifs, you know, permeated my mind. For example, in your intro, you talked about the alarm or alert raised by I understand what he's talking about, because oftentimes you see trailer loads of, you know, people who are not looking too decent. People, you know, carrying their dogs, sometimes their den guns, and stuff like that, you know, being brought into the southern part of the country. Unfortunately, in Nigeria and everywhere, the law guarantees freedom of movement. So, for example, when these people, you know, are brought to this part of the country and they are not bearing arms or other dangerous implements, it becomes difficult to question their mission, because we also have our brothers elsewhere around the country. So, but you know, when the owl cries in the night and somebody dies the next morning, you begin to look at whether there are some kind of correlation, you know, to the issue. Now, one of the what ifs that has actually, you know, occupied my mind about what happened in Okuama and this whole Bomadi really thing is we are told it's still a developing story. Nobody can say he or she has all the facts for now. So it's a developing story. But what we are told is that the community, you know, people from that community are responsible for this very unfortunate killing of our military men who are working very hard to maintain peace across the country. But then what if that community is infiltrated? What if this was carried out to set up the army against that community? I don't know if you understand, because
I feel it.
Troublemakers will often look for fertile grounds to eat out their plans. For example, they know that there is disquiet between two communities. And so if a third party sneaks in and does the unthinkable, the first thought is that it is the other community that attacked this community. So for me, what happened is very, very unfortunate. And as much as I condemn the dastardly killing of our military men who were in the Delta to keep peace, I also think that two wrongs don't make a right. Because from what I've seen in the Southeast where I reside, as a result of the agitations here and there, the insecurities here and there, one thing that is common is that even when the culprits are from those communities, most times when they carry out this kind of dastard act, they know the repercussions. Nobody kills the army, goes scot-free.
Yeah.
You can't kill the police and go scot-free. It's like, a suicidal mission. It's like what we are seeing between the Hamas and the Israelis. When Hamas attacked Israel, they were caught in trouble, and trouble they got. So, but my heart is always with those communities, because even if the culprits are truly from those communities, having levied this crass inhumanity to man, those who are responsible will leave the community. So when the military descends on that community, oftentimes, and everywhere the story has been the same, oftentimes you find out that it is innocent people who pay the supreme price.
Yeah.
Most of those, I am sure that if you go to Okwama today, most of those whose houses have been touched, most of those who have been killed in this reprisal attacks may be innocent people who do not even know or have a hoot of an idea how this whole thing went. And once someone dies, that person is dead. Nobody talks about it. So for me, I think some kind of creativity should be brought into responding to issues of this nature by the military. That is not, I align myself with Barrister, who has described the incident as very unfortunate and sad. It is a very sad call. It is a very sad call for the Delta, for Nigerians, for everybody, because these things shouldn't be happening. Already, we have a gamut of security challenges in our hands that we have not been able to crack. And then we can't afford to compound it. So my appeal is that people should know their bounds. And some of those who are angry or these misguided elements who think that they can do whatever they want to do and get away with it needs to always think about their community and put the interests of their communities first, because what the army did, much as that wouldn't have been the best way to respond to the situation. I would have preferred a scenario where those who were responsible are fished out, and this can be done with real intelligence and all that. But it behoves these communities to know that once you are involved in a thing like this, that there must be repercussions, and the repercussions are what we are seeing. However, I want to urge the Nigerian military, sad as the situation is, and as we empathize with the families of the soldiers who were murdered in cold blood, I want to urge the military high command to kindly and please exercise some caution in trying to get to the bottom or the root of this very sad development. Because if they are to act according to the level of angst in the land, casualties will be much, and my fear is that innocent people will suffer the most. I think I'll leave it there for now.
Thank you very much, Chris. I'm just looking at the pictures, and as you can see on your screen, the pictures of these gallant soldiers, you know, and they are fathers like us. They are brothers. And we cannot say the fact that I can't imagine how you can, no matter what, line them up and you know, and do what, and execute them as if there's no connection. They have no connection. But that begs the question: illicit arms. There are loads and loads of them in the southeast, in the southwest. I'm not talking about the. I want to address those ones, other ones later, because when Asare was crying and screaming and shouting, there's a legendary story by a legendary musician, Osito Sadebe. I'll say that now. He says a particular person in a town will always come out and say, there's a lion, there's a lion like you are in this night now. Just come out and shout, there na go. Look at lion, look at lion. And people will come out with their arms and they say, there's no lion. Then he keeps doing that on the day when the lions actually came. When don't leave this man, so in the TikTok, you know. As at that moment, Asare has been noted to have been aligned himself with the administrator. He brags about it. Now, coming now to start, maybe because you're losing favor somewhere, you are now crying, saying all this. People didn't take him serious. Now we are being faced with this. And he rightly said, investigation, there are other ways to handle it. Yes, they've eliminated officers of the Nigerian army. But no, there should be an interim way of handling these things. They should. That's why we're looking at community security, local vigilante. There should be effort to bring back arrest those who are involved and leave the innocent, because they are the ones suffering it. So we are appealing on the Nigerian army, and of course, we know how much they are committed in protecting the lives of people who are, at least Nigerians, as the case may be, so far, as overstretched as they are, because we have so many crises everywhere. If they could just use a bit of intellect, put these people together, arrest, like it says, arrest them, and then let the law follow its due process, because OD must not repeat itself.
Exactly.
I don't know if any of us can recall the story of OD. When I was in school, I remember a classmate of mine who's from that place, and who only heard of this. By the time he got back to his town, as if a road leading to his town, he saw flames. There lies his mother, his father. He never saw them again. The shock of it brought him back to school. That guy never crossed the Niger bridge anymore. He started settling his life in the southeast. This is not the way to go. They should find a way out. I don't know what you think, Barrister, but that's my own submission on this. How we should encourage the Nigerian army, like Chris said, to use other means to resolve this.
Thank you so much. There's a theory which Chris just brought in, which has kind of rattled my thinking. The question is, what will be the reason why the Okuama community would have wanted to roundly eliminate the people who were coming to make peace? What could have been the consideration? Now, could the reason have been that they apparently feel that they were coming to support the people they were having issues with? Could that be a reason? Or what on earth? Because it is not logical that somebody who was coming to make peace in the struggle you have with your neighbor should be a subject for annihilation. So that drives home the theory by Chris that what if somebody finds that to be a very, very terrible truth to make sure that this other community suffers immensely? What if a neutral person who was not involved in that What if a mercenary wanted to use that to reach or get at this particular community? Because certain consequences, at least in the Nigerian context, are quite obvious. It is obvious that you cannot shed one military blood and go free. Now, so that is one angle. Unfortunately, our intelligence gathering in this country is so poor. Otherwise, these are things that should be unveiled in a matter of hours. So that is the first question mark. But if it was a plain hooliganism for anybody to have thought of carrying out this dastardly act, I think that person does not have human blood flowing in him. As I watched the pictures of these fine military officers, they were not at war. They didn't go to war.
They didn't, yeah.
They were trying to bring peace to their fatherland. Like you said, these are parents. These are fathers and brothers of fellow Nigerians who have sacrificed so much to make sure that this country knows what is called peace. Their sacrifices have gone even beyond where they should not be called. Because in some of the circumstances where they are drafted in are circumstances where ordinarily the police should handle. We all know the role of the police, the constitutional position of the army, territorial integrity. But because they are vulnerable, they are dragged even into riots which ordinarily the police should be quenching. And it turns out that they have to put them. If they had died in a military combat, it would be understandable.
Honorable, yes.
If they were killed in the war front, it would have been understood. But to have been killed by, in quote, bloody civilians, it is very, very. I can't accommodate the thought that this happened. It is unfortunate. Well, like we have seen pictures of buildings in flames in Okuama community. The official statement from the army is that they are not connected in those houses that were in flames. They have stated clearly that the army has not carried out any reprisal attack. And so those flames, or rather those destructions that are going on, must have come from some other place, if we are to believe what the army have said. That is it. I join other well-meaning Nigerians in pleading with the army to bear this with fortitude. It is very unfortunate. The families of these fine gentlemen who were on absolute patriotic mission, it is difficult to comprehend. Like I said, to die in such a circumstance is very, very condemnable. It is difficult to bear, but I plead with the army that since they have given us the impression that they don't intend carrying out any reprisal, we plead with them to take steps to ensure that it doesn't go beyond what we have seen. And then we start thinking about, because like we said, this is not, there was OD. There was what was this other place in Kaduna State?
Zakibiam also.
Zakibiam, yes.
Yeah.
There was Zakibiam.
Yeah.
And now it is Okuama. I think this should be the last. Never again will our gallant soldiers die under such circumstances? And I will say that perhaps the military have to do a kind of introspection to see what measures that will be taken to make sure that whenever they need to engage in such an operation, that absolute care is taken to ensure that this kind of thing doesn't happen anymore. It is very, very worrisome that such a thing happened. And we pray that we don't live to see this kind of thing anymore. May this be the last time our soldiers will die under such circumstances.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. I will also join in. We here at Impact Plus join in condoling with Nigerian Army. And of course, and also urging them that they should do the needful. The needful now is to move in, do some underground work. I still believe that the more purple, there's so much arms in the southeast, southwest, and south. These are reasons why some of these things triggers up. Like you said, a third leg has pulled up this, most have. Is a theory that is coming up. But if the Nigerian Army can look beyond that and then reach out, solve this without having lives lost, then we will be, at least we will know that the country is gradually returning to its normal way. That brings me back to the second topic, which I had when we were trying to connect to Zach. Zach Ibian, this same incident to the one that happened in Kaduna years back. Incidentally, at the other side of Nigeria, but people are being kidnapped, people are being abducted. About as at last count now, 306 or thereabout of kids, fathers, mothers have been abducted by bandits in Kaduna State. And the Nigerian government and the Nigerian military had said that they are in top control of that. Why Kaduna State? Why that community, Kufu, I can't remember the name of that community. Why is it that within a space of 1 week, they are being besieged and harmlessly scattered away like some kind of gift item to God knows where? Sir Chris, what would you say? How do you see this recent onslaught on this community?
Well, I think the issue of insecurity across the country is becoming deadlier and thus more worrisome to every discerning mind, residents, particularly in this country today. Looking at it holistically, you could safely say that nowhere is safe in Nigeria at the moment. And I believe that security of lives and property is the primary responsibility of government anywhere in the world. Because it is the man and the woman and the child who is alive that talks about, the next move. When one is dead, there is no longer a next move. I am perturbed because one is not even seeing, the pragmatism expected in attacking the situation. Why do I say so? If we are to listen to the military high command, what they said while visiting there at this latest stuff, we had something like it was the enemies of the governor, Obasani, that are responsible for what is happening. And I got troubled a lot when, that statement came from the military high command. Troubled because this is not the time for a talk shop. This is not the time to offer excuses. Even the president has made it clear that he's no longer amenable to excuses. If it is the enemies of whoever that are responsible, if it is spirits that are responsible, whoever is responsible for the insecurity, what Nigerians want to hear is that these people have been apprehended and, those responsible, freed, those being held, freed. That is the news that Nigeria wants to hear. I made the point here the other time that for me, these things can be embarrassing, but they need to be said. It is very embarrassing to think that insurgents or bandits or agitators, whichever their nomenclature, who are obviously very far less equipped than Nigeria's military and the police, could hold the country to ransom. And we are being offered one excuse or the other since 2015. I want to believe that it is a question of lack of the political will to actually do the needful. That is why we are seeing what we are seeing. And I say this with every sense of responsibility. In making this submission, I want to allude to the situation here in the Southeast. In Anambra, here where I reside, by March 17, 2022, when the new governor here took over power, 7 local governments, in fact, 8 local governments were largely under the control of unknown gunmen in Anambra State. That was the situation this administration met on ground. And regardless of the fact that neither the police nor the army is answerable to the governor, he faced the problems head on. First, he appealed to the agitators to lay down their arms. He appealed to those in the bush to come out. He evolved a lot of programs, schemes, skill acquisition, after which you're giving startup. So it wasn't just talking. There are commensurate measures, designed to attract some of the people who went into these crimes, a last resort, sort of. But the important thing is that he didn't stop there. First, he liaised with the police to set up what he called the Joint Strike Force, comprising largely of local government-based vigilante operatives that were trained by the police. What I want to underscore with this is that you cannot tackle insecurity without local input in any locality. The criticality of relying on local intel and local security to actually arrive at a breakthrough cannot be overemphasized. So if you look at it, when that vigilante outfit was set up in Anambra State and it began to liaise with the police, because vigilantes are set up largely with input from the localities, you now have enough, grounds, enough intel to act upon. And when they combine with the police, within no time, we began to see successes as, with respect to the insecurity we used to have in Anambra State. I used to say that, yes, it is not Uhuru yet in Anambra State, but the situation has improved by more than 70, 80% from what this government met. I believe that these things can be done in the north. The other time I said, I don't think it's on this forum, but I made it clear that if Governor Hope Uzodinma had actually fought insecurity head on, the way we have seen the governors of Anambra and the new governor in Enugu State fighting insecurity, and even the new governor in Abia. If Hope Uzodinma had done anything near what they are doing, insecurity in the southeast would have abated long ago. Because the scenario we have right now is that most of the strike actions or storm actions that we witness here in Anambra State, I'm just using Anambra as a case study, are people who come in from the neighboring states, most, in fact, from the Olo axis, levy terror on the state. So what I'm saying is this: I am troubled by what is happening in Kaduna State. Why am I troubled? You have, personalities, some non-religious leaders in Kaduna State who should be talking about devising a workable strategy to combat the kidnapping and banditry that has subsumed that state. But what they are talking about is, what they are interested in is how to go to negotiate with kidnappers, how to go to negotiate with bandits, and so on and so forth. I don't think that is the way to go. So I think that there is an element of insincerity on the part of both the authorities in Kaduna State and on the part of the political and religious leaders in that state. I do not think that they are handling it with the urgency and the seriousness it deserves. I think that some are handling it from a religious point of view. But one thing about violence is that it spares no one. Violence spares no one. So you never can tell what will happen the next minute. Even the person who is willing to go and negotiate might be going and coming, and one day he will go and not come back. So for me, I don't like this idea of, being not being proactive. I think we should be proactive. The other day, we were trying to analyze the abduction of the school children. And I made reference to the kind of logistics that would be necessary and the kind of timeline that you need to kidnap over 200 students and successfully drive them into the forest. This will take at least an hour. It wouldn't have taken anything less than an hour. This would take so many vehicles. And, if you recall, we have seen a viral video before now where, showing where these bandits were about to go for an operation. And even some people in police uniform suspected to be elements from the Nigeria police were there making calls to some of their people at certain checkpoints, telling them, I speak Hausa, I had my early education in the north, so I speak Hausa fluently. And if you listen to those videos which were in Hausa, you will hear them telling them that these people want to come and pass, so that they are not coming to make trouble, that they should allow them pass. When you see videos like that, and these are not skits, these are, because it is the bandits that share this video, actually to cow Nigerians into submission. When you now see these things and listen to such things, you begin to suspect a deep internal conspiracy. And I think it is that conspiracy that is the handicap in actually fighting banditry in the Northwest. Let me leave it there for now.
Okay, let's go to, let's do it kind of a flashback. The BH boys, Boko Haram, and the abduction of same number, almost close to the same number of kids in secondary school. Then people are talking about how can you pack such one and travel such a long route. Now we've got to know that there are internal infringement of Nigerian security arms that are helping to execute this. Even to the essence of the presidency and the rest of them, people have laid claim to the fact that these things are not done. It was an orchestrated plan. Nigeria has become a kind of a training ground for people who come and execute certain element of terrorism, in quote, without it being acknowledged. We saw Boko Haram settling in Nigeria. We saw ISIS also coming into Nigeria. We're seeing Hamas. Recently, you are all well aware, you saw they came into Nigeria, they appeared in national television, and their leaders went and boldly was making statements. Is Nigeria now a safe haven for, in quotes, people who wants to annex or control the African, they also call the most populous Black African nation on earth, or those who believe that there's an element of Islamism in being at play? Barrister, please look at this again, because it's no longer a joke. If ISIS came into Nigeria, Boko Haram came to Nigeria, it was used, has been proven to be used by politicians to do what? To obtain power. to upset the ruling government. Then ISIS came in, playing a hero character, trying to chase the Boko Haram boys and others, settling in with their own localized ISIS member. Now now you have Hamas coming into Nigeria, sitting in a station that is privately owned and making pronouncements. They came in. What makes you think that the other people will not? The other of their boys didn't come in. Is it a government way of saying we can find an ally to support us? Is Hamas the right people? Because you very soon it will start playing out. This part of script will start playing out very soon.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. I think the last segment of Chris' submission really summarized the whole thing. If we take our minds back to Chibok, when Chibok happened, remember the initial reaction of the then presidency, I think under Jonathan, that they could not believe that the report they were getting was the correct report. And that was why it took a while before the government came to the realization that actually those children were missing. Because if we assess the infrastructure, we are told that over 200 motorcycles moved into the school and then took these two school children, and then rode back into the bush. This is, by every calculation, this is an operation that should not take anybody unawares. And it's an operation that shouldn't go beyond 3 to 4 hours. The question you ask yourself, no matter how ungovernable or ungoverned a territory is, a flock of over 200 motorcycles cannot be moving at the same time without attracting anybody's attention. Such a large number, they are not carrying out any demonstration. They just move freely, moved into a school premises, and abducted as many as they can, and again rode back through the town to the bush. Such an act, the only way to explain it is that it is from the authority. The authorities who have the powers to man those who were moving around, who did not do that. It is clear that somebody who was supposed to act did not act. And when I mean somebody from the highest echelon, there must be compromise for these kind of things to happen. And since Chibok, we have continued to see it, even up till here, up till last week. And so the question is, what will be the very reason behind this trajectory in our security architecture? You've mentioned the number of interest groups, external interest groups that appear to have settled it. And obviously, the target is to make sure that education does not really blossom in that part of the country. Because why will the entire attacks be in the school, the citadel of learning? The entire reason is to scare people away from going to school. And we know who have that as their philosophy. So it is unfortunate that our politicians from that part of the country appear not to be serious about that. They appear to be enjoying what is going on, only to receive these few attention, and the thing fizzles out. And we wait for the next day. And what is painful that it is the audacity with which it is carried out, that it is carried out today, and the following morning another set of people happen. Where are the security men that they should be kidnapping today? In less than 24 hours, there will be another episode. How can this be happening in a nation we call ourselves? So they all boil down to politicians. I have no doubt in my mind that it is all political considerations that is leading to all these things. That people have refused to do what people now feel on their fellow human beings for the sake of making money and influence. It is very unfortunate.
Now, sir, because why Sir Chris, please, if you can listen to my analogy here, why I am very, very particular about this issue of the Hamas presence is that we have chronicled the Boko Harams and the bandits, the ISIS boys that are coming in. Is it for this present government, this present administration, to allow such people to come into Nigeria? Had discussion with the military chiefs in Nigeria and all that and all that. Are they trying to tell the world that tell the other side that, look, okay, if we cannot contain you, we're going to bring some other people who can? You know, it's like saying, can two wrongs make a right? Because the assumption or the theory, the unwritten what's it called, assumption or theory now is that if this government is allowing Hamas to get in, then they might as well be telling the other people, look, if you are not careful, if you're not want to listen, this is what we unleashed on you. Thereby making Nigerian military weaker and weaker, and also endangering other sections of the country that are not part of this, that will not align with these things.
Well, to be very honest with you, I would not think that, you know, it makes any sense for government, howsoever, to broach, you know, the thought of, you know, working with Hamas and probably unleashing them on these other people. Like you led the background. This thing began with Boko Haram. And at a point, the other sects started coming in, and there was rivalry. In some territories, these people will have the upper hand. Like, whether you like it or not, in the Kanem Borno area, it is still BH in control, even though they have been substantially weakened. In the Nigeria-Chad border, it's a mixture of ISIS and BH people there. In the northwest, it's strictly banditry. And I wouldn't think that it would be government's even innate intention to think about, you know, compounding matters by bringing Hamas. However, I have maintained that it was disingenuous. It was disingenuous for the government to allow, you know, ranking members of Hamas into the country in the first place. It questions the rationality of our foreign policy at a time like this. Even if you want to be sympathetic to a particular sect, it shouldn't be at the detriment of your own country as a country. So, but this is what you find where government is struggling. The thing is, one lesson that Nigerians must take home from what is happening is that antecedents should matter in electing political leaders. Antecedents should matter. And even in considering antecedents, the issue of fitness should also, you know, be uppermost in our minds. So for me, what I think government should do, because I'm more interested in a solution than in analyzing, you know, the gamut of errors that we have seen, or lapses that we have noticed in the system. I insist that rationally speaking and rationally thinking, there is no way these elements can overwhelm the Nigerian military. I insist that it is internal conspiracy and rivalries in the Nigerian military that is responsible for the lingering insecurity in parts of the country. I think that what the government should do is to take full responsibility and then communicate effectively that there shall, not even should, there shall be consequences for failure. This government won election on the beacon of one of its promise that it is going to end this insecurity in every part of the country. It is now in power. It should walk its talk. If it will take replacement of the military high command every 2-3 months until you achieve results, do it. And something tells me deep down that if government gives a marching order that carries consequences, not this type they will give today, and something else will happen tomorrow, and then they will return and give another marching order. There should be consequences for laxity. There should be consequences for failure. Once we begin to see consequences, and once we allow merit to govern the appointment or replacement of officers who have failed to perform, I can assure you that these things will become a thing of the past. And I want us, we learn from history. If we are discussing this right now, it would appear as if we hadn't nearly smoked out these insurgents. Let's cast our mind back to the days of General Ihedrika.
Yeah.
Under General Ihedrika, BH was roundly dealt with. In fact, BH was at the nip of being smoked out completely. And you recall what happened. The fight was politicized, religion was brought in, and annihilation was alleged. And because we had a president who was looking for a second term and wasn't very firm on his foot on certain matters, he allowed himself to be misled into easing off a general who proved himself a general and tackled this scenario then head on and was almost conquering it. After Ihedrika's ouster, the rest is history today, and we know how unpalatable that history has been. But why do I make reference? I made reference to it because it bears eloquent testimony to the fact that these insurgents are not insurmountable. These insurgents are not stronger than the Nigerian military. These insurgents do not have what it takes to even withstand the firepower of the Nigerian military. What I think is that the political will is lacking. And I want to call on the president to match words with action and to mete out consequences for failures. That is the only way we can get results. And we need to block our ears and blind our eyes to mischief makers who would want to stand in the way. For example, I do not think that government should take any political or religious leader that is still caressing or romancing the ransom payment or negotiation with bandits, angle. Those are enemies of the nation, because there must be something in it for them, either in material fashion or in religious fashion. So we need to call a spade a spade. It's not easy coming on air to say these things. But my belief is that we owe this nation a duty to be bold in speaking truth to power and to be bold in pinpointing areas where government isn't doing enough, so that government itself will know that Nigerians know that it is not doing enough, and then we'll be guided to do the right thing. I want to believe that, you know, by way of rounding up, a lot of military, sorry, Cole wanted to interrupt this. A lot of military wares were bought. And then those were to include drones and all whatnot. And if, like we have all agreed here, that it takes substantial amount of time to do this kidnap and escape back into the forest, where are the drones? Were they not purchased? If they were purchased, were they shut down? When? How? There should be people, you know, the authorities should also query and interrogate those whose responsibility it is, so that we will know where we are. In the place you reside there in the UK, if there is a lesser crime, a crime that is not, that is so minute that you cannot compare to this, and it is a difficult terrain, in 5 minutes the helicopters are up. Isn't it how it is on there?
It's everywhere, yeah. It's
Helicopters are up.
Yeah.
Don't military helicopters. Don't we have light military planes? We have all these things. So where are they? Where are they? These are the questions. So when I say that I do not believe that the military has done its best in terms of looking out the insurgents and banditry and whatever, one is not kidding. The facts are to support such opinion is there. So I'll leave it at that.
All right, everybody. Thank you very much. You have all been watching Impact Plus, and I have with me my special guest analyst who have been doing justice to these topics before us. I have Barrister Isaac Obi, a constitutional lawyer, and I have Sir Chris Mosu, who it's not just showing his knowledge of Nigerian military and of course history behind so much of things we've gone through, but he's speaking truth to power. That's what we are doing here in Impact Plus. We want to talk to the conscience, the power, the heart of those who are our president and who are ruling this country. The truth is this: the Nigerian military has its minds, but its weakest point is corruption. We cannot shy away from that. These things you talk about, information flow, accuracy in information flow doesn't come out. Phones were shut down, choppers were taken down, they tell you no. Arms and all that, but we cannot continue to dwell on negativity. We only want to say, let us find a reason to celebrate once again as a country. I as a student, I used to leave Anambra State and journey, take night bus to Jos and stay, do some other things, and then come back. Today, you can't even take it. You can't take a night from here.
It's not done afternoon safely, and you're talking about night.
So when we look at all that, we've lost so much within a space of 20 years or thereabout. But so much can be gained if the government, who is currently battling legitimacy, because those are two things. You cannot tell a man to shut his mouth when yours is as bad as his in terms of what order or whatever. Nigerian government, the legitimacy that this government needs is so is humongous. To prove that this is true, that you are not part of this, is so tight for them. The military is corrupt. The personnel and the presidents are also aligned with it. You opening doors to a new set of terrorist organization is laying claim to the fact that we don't know where to go about it. The people, I'm speaking from the people perspective. I'm looking at it as a Nigerian. If I am to say, how do I feel? Am I going to believe this government that they are doing their best? We'll live to see that. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Barrister, thank you very much for being here. And Chris, also thank you very much. On a lighter note, Chris, there's something that is flying on the internet. That my governor, your governor, and my first lady, our first lady, your first lady, Governor Chukwumacha Soludo, has not received or had never taken or have not taken his 2 years salary since he got into power, and all that. I don't know. He must be very, very generous. Is it true?
Well, to the extent that there is no information, and to the contrary, and I'm an information rat.
Yeah.
I believe him 100%. I believe him 100%. And if you see the quest with which he's attacking the issues, you will know that he's looking beyond salaries. I think he's more interested in leaving a legacy, that will be, regarded as something to beat by the time he exits power. What I can tell you is that beyond the propaganda across the state, a lot is happening in Anambra State, and people will be shocked in the next 1 year with the sort of projects that will come to the field. The problem with development is that at the teaching stages, you don't even know that anything is going on.
Yeah.
Except people like to move around the state. I recall during the last Yuletide, I was still calling and talking to some of my friends in the opposition. I said, look, be mindful, because as a critic, I don't want to put up criticisms that will be shut down in the next 2-3 months. That's my standard. So I want to, for example, my stand in the life of the previous administration. Today, I shared an appearance I made on March 19, 2 years after Soludo took over in 2022. You could go to my Facebook page and listen to that. So for me, this government is doing well. If it is not doing well, I will be one of the first persons who would have been alerted in Anambra with empirical evidence.
We're going to have it. We're going to have an episode on Anambra State because I am Barrister. What's your opinion on this before I make my conclusion?
Oh well, I think Chris has said it all. I also, in the absence of any counter to the claim that for 2 years running, Soludo has not received his salary. That has been out there for quite some days now, and there's been no counter. So the option is to take it as truthful. I am also aware that in the past weeks, there's been commissioning of road projects. I think yesterday or 2 days ago, sometime last week, it was Ogbaru. Today, I think he was in Ufuma, commissioning quite a number of road projects. So I agree that we are witnessing some positive strides. We only pray that that he continues and doesn't slow down at a point, because that's always the problem with politicians. Perhaps after the first tenure, the tempo may have to change. That's our experience with them. So we pray that he sustains it and carries it to the full length. So far, I think that is so good.
Okay. Thank you very much, Barrister, and thank you very much, Chris. I am a believer of the current governor. I joined and participated in his election fully, and I'm still hoping because there were a situation whereby Anambra State was about being forced to accept a particular person that ordinarily we wouldn't go to, and every right-thinking Anambarian then came together and supported Charles Wangwaf. And today, you are saying he's doing well. I'm not here physically, but Chris, I would want to one of these days. Let's make an arrangement. It's official. I will send a reporter take us around Anambra State. Chris, are you there?
I'm here. There's no problem.
Take us around Anambra State, and let people see. That's all I can say for now.
No wahala.
All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you very much, gentlemen. It's been Impact Plus, and I would encourage, would plead that you watch our episode. We really watch 14 Plus. It's a global channel that is coming in, trying to use a particular method to narrate stories touching people. Impact Plus will tell stories about politics, governance, celebrity, and God knows, inventors. Anybody can be a guest here. But for now, we're starting with the governance so we can clear some of these backlogs. As future goes on, you'll be seeing people coming in to join us. Thank you very much, gentlemen. I appreciate your effort. Chris, I want to see the daylight as part of this side. This place is nice. Market, because all the that is bringing network now. There must be one of the goddess of the land is pulling down the network. It's been flawless. It's been flawless.
Very flawless today. I'm surprised myself, but I tried this out in the afternoon and I saw that this location was a bit. But you never can tell. Tomorrow it could be flipped.
Nothing will happen to it. If it's there, it's there. Don't say don't be. It's there, you say it is. Thank you very much, Chris, for coming. Barrister, thank you very much. And I think I couldn't make it. He was on transit. He tried his best, but he was on transit. But we hope by the Saturday's episode will be okay. Thank you very much. And we also pray that and wish Nigerian Army the wisdom to solve this amicably. Let us find the truth. Let the innocent not suffer. Let the innocent not suffer. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you very much. And God bless you all viewers at home. It's been an exciting episode. I'll see you around some other time. God bless.
Yeah.